Hello, everyone. You're on the Deadly Tracks channel. If you are interested in this channel, then subscribe and like it, and we will continue. Today, we'll talk about Nesibe Nasanov, nicknamed the Red Diamond, who was one of the most influential criminal authorities in Kazakhstan during the 1990s. The Red Diamond died over 20 years ago, but his name is still well known. However, his biography didn't start like that of someone who would later become famous in the criminal world and rise to such power and influence. Nesibe was born in 1961 in the city of Ayguz, Semipalatinsk region. He grew up in an ordinary family and practiced karate from a young age. During his school years, along with his friends, he printed Adidas t-shirts in Semipalatinsk without any idea of intellectual property rights. At that time, he was far from crime. He was into music and sports, leading a healthy lifestyle. After serving in the Soviet Army, Nesibe moved to Almaty, where he worked as a bartender. After saving up some money, he opened a waffle cone production shop near the Saryarka cinema. He also installed soda machines in the central Gorky Park. Around this time, he organized his own karate school. Soon, Nesibe had a stable income. But then came the racketeers, demanding a share of his profits. Nesibe refused to pay. After that, his businesses became targets of attacks, and both he and his family began receiving death threats. This incident became a turning point. At the age of 28, Nesibe, determined to protect himself and his family, gathered athletes from his karate school and fought back against the gangsters. This story, framed as a business dispute, was actually an example of how the racketeers met resistance from someone who could stand up for himself. Later, Nesibe's team began to take control of other businesses in Almaty, offering protection from criminals. Business owners agreed and switched their criminal protection. Soon, Nesibe's group, which became known as the Red Diamond, began to control many businesses. They took control of car dealerships, clothing markets in Almaty, oil companies, and other enterprises. Those who refused to pay, just like Nesibe once had, were subjected to harsh methods of intimidation. The gangsters beat them, threatened them with weapons, and, according to rumors, could send anyone they didn't like to their grave. His group also actively fought competitors. They almost always emerged victorious in confrontations thanks to their athletes: karatekas, boxers, wrestlers, and former Afghan war veterans. The word spread quickly around the city that it was better not to mess with the Red Diamond. The Red Diamond and his group took control of oil companies, several large retail chains, and the grain trade business in Kazakhstan and the CIS. A huge number of successful Kazakhstani businessmen once relied on his support. The Red Diamond was not just a criminal authority, but also someone who knew how to maintain relationships with well-known personalities, including celebrities from Kazakhstan, Russia, and Kyrgyzstan. Unlike his associates, who always wore sportswear, he preferred strict suits and led a more high-profile lifestyle. Soon, in Almaty, thieves-in-law began to notice him. The famous criminal authority Aslan Usayan, known as Dead Kazan, started communicating with Nesibe and appointed him as the overseer of Almaty. This move solidified his enormous authority in criminal circles. However, his success didn't end there. The Red Diamond continued to expand his influence, controlling casinos, oil refineries, and the banking sector. At the peak of his power, he could influence almost every aspect of the country's life. The money he was making was not just huge, it was colossal. However, despite his influence, in 1992, His first wife was murdered, and he himself was targeted in several assassination attempts. In 1996, the authorities of Kazakhstan took decisive action against crime, and Necip Bey was one of the first to be targeted. He was accused of extortion, illegal possession of arms, and tax evasion. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Even while incarcerated, his cell was equipped with air conditioning, a television, and a refrigerator stocked with delicacies. He retained control over his businesses and continued to generate enormous income. 6 months later, Necip Bey was released on health grounds. After his release, he left Kazakhstan and, via the Balkans, moved to Spain, where he settled in Barcelona. During this time, no one in Kazakhstan dared claim his expensive BMW, despite the growing debt from the car being stuck at the impound lot. The car was put up for auction, but it was never sold. Eventually, it was transferred to the police. However, in 1998, a tragedy occurred in Almaty. The head of security at the Jan Arka company, Fyodor Akimov, was found murdered. It was rumored that this was the work of the Red Diamond's people. Although there was no proof, the rumors spread quickly around the city. The Red Diamond was killed on June 1st, 1998 in Barcelona, when 6 masked men broke into his mansion and shot him. The body was found sometime later, and it was only after a few days that it was confirmed that the body was indeed Necip Bey, the godfather of the Kazakhstani mafia. After his death, his brotherhood split into numerous criminal groups, which fought for influence in Almaty and other cities of Kazakhstan for a long time. So, this was the story of Necip Bey Nasanov, known in the criminal world as the Red Diamond, a man who left an indelible mark on Kazakhstan's history